Alright guys, so if you haven't already seen my first video introducing this series, which is Big Al's Real Fighting series, then I do recommend watching that, as it will tell you what this entire series will be about. But if you don't want to watch it, or you've already seen a lot of the videos already and you've kind of worked out what's going on, don't worry guys, it's not that important. It's just telling you roughly what's going to be going on. And I do reference what this video is about in there, and that is what is pammachon, or pankration. Okay, well, it's a martial art that I'm starting to teach myself and learn now. Its origins are within Greece, and when I say Greece, I mean ancient Greece, so the Spartans, so to speak, and of course the ancient Greek states. As a result, it's probably just over 3,000 years old, if not older. It's a very, very old martial art, and of course, as a result, its origins are within the battlefield. Okay, so a lot of the techniques, which I will not be learning for obvious reasons, are not applicable to today's modern society, i.e. how to defend yourself against someone armed with a spear, or a big two-handed sword, or something along these lines, or how to use a shield properly, and how to march in formation. These would have obviously been aspects of the martial art originally, because that's what it is. It's not an art as such, it's a drill that prepares people for martial combat. That's all a martial art is. It's something that prepares you for martial combat, to fight. Okay, and this martial art, obviously being so old, will obviously include weapons. However, the martial art not only teaches you how to fight with weapons, but it also teaches you how to fight and defend yourself when you no longer have a weapon, and against people who are armed and armoured. But again, as I say, you've lost your weapon, it's broken, it's lost, or you're just fighting unarmed combat as a self-defense within a street because you just, ambushed by muggers or, bandits or whatever they would have been called back then. Okay, and so what I will say is this: when I'm going through the martial art, I will pick and I will play with the bits that are applicable to today. This is not a history seminar, so to speak. This is a martial arts video, and I will be teaching you what is applicable, and be teaching myself what is applicable to today's standards. And essentially, as a result, I'll be developing my MMA, mixed martial arts skills. Okay, now why have I picked pankration, or pammachon? Well, the reason for it is because even though I do obviously have an experience within oriental martial arts, karate and Muay Thai, Muay Thai being perhaps the exception here, the point I'm going to make, but even to some degree, like how to seal the ring and stuff, is still a big element of Muay Thai, is that oriental martial arts do tend to often be very traditional. They haven't fully adapted with the times, in the sense that a lot of moves that you practice, are what I just referenced earlier, are there to protect you against a katana, the sword that samurai would wield, or kukris, or something like this, or they are moves that are performed with other people in question. And more often than not, are ritualistic in some elements. A large portion of the martial art are done almost in ritual, like the kata of the karate martial art. By the way, guys, I am not disrespecting or putting any of these martial arts down when I'm saying this, or oriental martial arts as a whole. Far from it. Very much respect every single martial art. What I will make the point of now, before continuing, is that no martial art is perfect. Every martial art is equal in many respects. It's the person that makes the martial art. Okay, if you're shit at fighting, it doesn't matter which martial art, and you're not dedicated, you're not in good condition, you don't look after your body, and you don't commit time to learning that martial art in its entirety and in its full complexity within the setting that is applicable to you, then you're not going to be good. No matter what martial art you pick, you're going to be a shit fighter regardless. Whereas if you're completely dedicated, committed, single-minded, intelligent and enthusiastic, whatever martial art you pick will be deadly, and it will be as deadly as any martial art that you would have picked. Okay. However, there are some martial arts that lend themselves to certain situations better than others. As I say, the problem with the oriental martial arts is, for me, there is a lot of ritualistic sides to it. Muay Thai, sealing of the ring, the kata for the karate, which is not ritualistic, but it is almost like shadow boxing, where you're imagining yourself fighting against multiple opponents and stuff, and it's just not something that's going to happen in the street of modern day society. You're not going to be a samurai warrior fighting against 100 peasants, for example. It's just not going to happen. So, and as a result, I don't want to waste my time sifting through to find the good stuff, which is a lot of good stuff in all those oriental martial arts. Instead, I want to go to a martial art that is brutal, to the point, and effective. And okay, yeah, I will have to sift through it, but nonetheless, I just have a passion for European martial arts. Boxing is a European martial art, and it's a very good one. But most of you may not realise that martial arts exist within Europe. European martial arts include boxing, wrestling, so on and so forth, right? These are martial arts. We just don't perceive them as that. We tend to often think it's only oriental fighting techniques that are martial arts. But martial arts is any sport or any move set or discipline that you learn that enhances your ability to defend yourself. That's a martial art. Now, I've picked Pankration because it is a brutal martial art. It is a martial art that developed on the battlefield in a very similar way to Muay Thai. Muay Thai developed on the battlefield also within Thailand, which is what I'm currently trained in. As a result, there's a lot of crossover, because what is good at defending yourself doesn't matter which continent you're on. If you're in Asia and Europe, every human being has a head, 2 arms, a body, and 2 legs, right? For all intents and purposes, every healthy human being, at least anyway. And there's only so much you can do with your own body, and there's only so much you can do to the enemy's body, to the opposition's body. We all have the same vital spots that are weak, no matter what. The eyes, the neck, there are weak parts to the body. And any martial art that has developed on the battlefield to train people to defend themselves and to ultimately kill their opponent or disable them in a manner where they are no longer functional will take advantage of the vital spots on the opposition, but also defend yours at the same time. And so, learning Pankration already, having only spent a few days picking up basic techniques, I actually was surprised how much I already knew, because I've done Muay Thai. I already know a lot of Pankration. I also know a lot because I've been in a lot of street fights, and generally speaking, when you've experienced as a fighter within real life situations, you tend to pick up what works. And that is how these martial arts developed in the first place. At the end of the day, they developed because this was what was right. This is what kept you alive. If those who practice different techniques, there would have been other martial arts perhaps at this point, at this time when this martial art is here. Okay, there may have been other people practicing other martial arts, but they died out because their martial art didn't work. This is the martial art alongside the others that have survived the battlefield. They've been tried and tested, and the people who practiced it have survived battle conditions with this martial art. And so that is a testament to its success immediately. The fact that it still exists 3,000 years later, 4,000 years later, whatever, just makes it even, more respectable. And a lot of you, as I will be doing these moves and learning them with my partner, I'll be doing a few talk videos as well. In fact, I'll probably do a talk video with every sort of training video, or at least a commentary over every training video, explaining what's going on. You might already recognise the moves and say, oh no, that's from BJJ, or that's from judo, or that's from some other form of Greco-Roman wrestling, or whatever, and you might be right, they are from that martial art, but there's always, because they've taken parts of they've evolved from this martial art, or from other martial arts from around the same period of time. It's like a family tree of martial arts, that's all. And I'm going straight to the top of the chain, okay? Or to one of the top of the chain, so to speak. One of the all-fathers, so to speak, right? So, enough of the background. Pankration. The reasons why I've chosen it, I've already hinted at there. It's brutal, it's effective, and it believes, and this is from my experience already, that aggression is the best form of defense. attack is the best form of defense, and I've already practiced a couple of these moves with another training partner of mine who is not going to be on these videos that I've discussed, who's a very experienced fighter, far more experienced than myself, has a lot of street fighting experience, and has a tremendous amount of boxing experience as well, but less martial arts training, but is just brutal because of the fact that they've got street experience, and they are bigger than me. They're 20 odd stone, and they really know how to rumble, and we respect each other very much, to the point where he is the first person I go to. I go to him and I go, listen, I'm learning a new martial art, I'm learning new moves. I want to bounce off these techniques off you, and I want to refine it with yourself and incorporate it into my own fighting style, mixing it in with my Muay Thai, mixing it in with my karate and my boxing, and I want to evolve it into a modern day fighting form, a true MMA fighting style overall, incorporating these new techniques. Right, so I picked out a couple of techniques over the last couple of days, and today particularly there was one technique about how to defend yourself when someone's throttling you, strangling you. Now I already knew a defensive form of how to prevent that, but it gets the hands very easily off from the throat, and I will be displaying this in a later video. But the defensive move I knew was just defensive. It got rid of the hands, and that's it. Pankration, or pammachon pankration, was a whole different ball game, because it just ignored the fact that their hands were on your throat, and basically you go straight for their eyes in response. Now it sounds very simple, very crude. Obviously the way that you do it is you come on the inside of the guard, you come on the inside of the arms, and you use momentum and force to push the head back. You go for the eyes, it's a distraction, and it will actually, because of momentum and you're putting distance between you and them, will actually drag their hands off anyway, and then they've got something to deal with themselves. And this is why I'm actually falling very, very passionately in love with this martial art. It may make it my primary martial art over Muay Thai, because simply speaking, it's just, I love it. I love its mentality. I always do believe that when put under a situation, instead of reacting, you give them something to react to that is bigger than what they're giving you to react to. You give them a bigger problem than what they're giving you, ultimately. It's a very good way of fighting, and, well, defending yourself in many ways. And it's just, it's nice to see it. It's nice to see some of the stuff that I already know confirmed in ancient martial arts. Now, what I will say is about pammachon pankration is that it's stated quite clearly within the martial art that there are no rules. So this is not a sport. This is not something you go in the ring and practice. This is self-defense for real life situations, and that's why I've called this Big Al's Real Fighting, because you're going to be seeing myself and my training partner and anyone else I can get involved being taught and using real life or defensive techniques that can be used in real life and are effective. They work, okay? And so, you know, the normal rules that most martial arts have, for example, including sport pankration, because pankration exists within the Olympics, but that's the sport version, not the combat version, right? Most of the time you're not allowed to headbutt, gouge the eyes, bite, pull hair, fish hook, groin, attacks to the groin, putting your finger in any form of orifice or into a cut or a laceration on your opponent. Small joint manipulation, i.e. pulling up the fingers and stuff. Striking to the spine or often to the back of the head is often not allowed. Striking with the downward point of the elbow is often banned in most sports. And of course throat strikes also. While pankration or pammachon pankration, combat pankration, utilizes all of them. Okay, so I will, if you're looking for something that you can practice in sport, guys, do karate, do Muay Thai, do boxing, do almost any other martial art other than this. This is self-defense, and that is it. It's about attacking critical targets like the eyes, the throat. There's no middle ground, okay? And really, that's all I really wanted to say into this initial video, is introduce you to the martial art that I'm learning. I've already described even just one technique that I've picked up. It's going to be fun. and I hope you have the same enthusiasm that I do, and I would be more than willing to teach guys with more focused videos if there's something you want to learn within the martial arts that I already know. Karate I haven't practiced for a long time as a pure martial art. Katas, yeah, I've done them. I've done probably 5 or 6 out of the 100 katas that exist, but I don't rate them, I don't like them, I don't remember them. But a lot of or if you want to hear my opinion on some of the martial arts, then I can, but karate is probably the one that I can least advise you on. Even though I do have a black belt in it, it's been years since I've practiced it as a pure martial art, and it's almost gone. I use it as a foundation, basically. My karate is a foundation for my other martial arts, but if there's anything particular you want to learn or know about the martial arts that I already know about, ask them away in the comments on any of these videos, and I will do my best to answer you, either in the comments or by doing the reaction video. Or if there are any questions on anything I show you, then please just ask, guys. I'm doing this for you as much as for myself. Thank you. See you soon.